Hello, everyone. My name is Renetta Gunn Stevens. I'm the CEO of Sophisticated Press. And today we are going to talk about the lessons to learn from B Simone and the book situation that she's going through right now due to plagiarism. So when you come in, make sure you tag and share all of your author friends because we're going to have so much information for you today as an author, okay? So quick bio about myself. My name is Renetta Gunn Stevens. I am the CEO of Sophisticated Press. I'm also the author of 4 books: Kingdom Speaking in the Boardroom, A Dad's Redemption, 10 Ways to Eliminate Debt by Writing, and then Push, Promote, into Shipping and Handling Occurs. I'm also a ghostwriter. I'm also a founder and the founder of Sophisticated Press Author Academy. And then I'm also a CEO, which is the Chief Encouraging Officer. And that's my job, to encourage you, to educate you, to inspire you in publishing. So today we're going to be talking about the lessons that you can learn from B Simone. We're probably going to do this in 2 parts. But let's get started. When you come in, say hello, let us know what state you're tuning in from, and tag and share with at least 2 to 3 authors. So just in case many of you don't know, or many of you do know, B Simone is a public figure who I really don't follow her, so I don't really know much about her. But what I do know is she recently has been in social media for some comments that she made about her man has to have a 9 to 5. And then recently, once she said that, a lot of social media followers took to the internet, and it was like they felt disrespected. They felt like they wasn't included because majority of her niche market was 9 to 5. And so they began to kind of, check her on what she said. And I'm not here to debate if what she said was right or wrong, because that's her personal preference. But what I am here to talk about is the book. After she made those statements, then people began to just kind of put her under the microscope, right? Hey, Nia. Hey, Marlon. And make sure you tag and share some friends. Thank you for tagging, Nia. And so they began to put her under the microscope, and they began to then start talking about her book. And so once they began to put her under the microscope, what happened was, all of these people who had purchased her book, which was hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, they began to complain about the quality of the book, the content of the book, the presentation of the book, and it just went down from there. So we're going to just break down what happened, how you can make sure this doesn't happen to you as an author. And we're going to just talk about it. So bring your comments, bring your likes, your shares, your disagreements, your agreements. But I'm just going to be giving my point of view from a professional publisher standpoint, okay? So the first thing is, she did put out a video, and she said that, hey, she apologized. She had outsourced the project, and now it's a legal matter, and she has stopped sales of her book. Kudos to her for, even responding to that. So here's the thing. When she says she has outsourced, what she's saying is that she actually hired a ghostwriter to do her book. And there's nothing wrong with hiring a ghostwriter. I'm a ghostwriter. I have been hired to write many people books in the marketplace, right? But here's the thing. When you are a ghostwriter, or when you hire a ghostwriter, Valerie Fain says, investigate and check your work. I love it. When you are hiring a ghostwriter, the first thing you should do is check your references, right? And that ghostwriter should be able to give you some references. Now, let's just say if this is the first project that the ghostwriter has done, no biggie. But you just make sure that you're going to be very hands-on, like Valerie said. You want to make sure that you're constantly checking their work, and you want to make sure when they're turning in drafts, as they should, that you personally are the one who are signing off on the drafts, because it is your brand. And it's okay to have a team, it's okay to have an assistant, but some things you have to check for yourself. Hey, Christina, let me know what state you're tuning in from. And so what B Simone is saying, that she hired an outsourced company to do this journal for her. Nothing wrong with that. You just need to check your references, right? So then what happened is, because I wrote down some notes, what happened is when you are in your pre-order phase for any book, whether it's a journal or a regular novel, there is a 30 to 90 day window minimum, you all, and sometimes it can go up to a year of pre-order phases. And what I believe happened is something that authors do a lot. They rush the process, and they just want that book out so in a hurry to get the book out that they put out a manuscript that's not ready for population. Now, B Simone says in her retraction that she didn't know. That's not true. Because if you go to her Instagram page on April 27th, she's showing, it's a video of her taking the books and stuff out of the mail truck. And she's like, I've been so hands-on, I've been so hands-on, I've been so hands-on. So you can't now say you don't know. You can definitely apologize, which we appreciate. But you can't say you don't know, because you said in the video that you were very hands-on with this project, which means that you saw the drafts. You saw the final project because you said you were hands-on. And if you didn't, that's fine too. Then don't say you're hands-on. Valerie says, I actually think she have a shot at winning. Those are the typical questions that you will ask. Yeah, you should actually you should definitely actually ask people, have you done this before? Have you been a ghostwriter before? And you should definitely be hands-on with your ghostwriter. A ghostwriter should not only know you as the author, but they should also know your niche client. So what happened was, you all, as many of you know, there was some plagiarism that went on. Now, here's the thing with plagiarism. We learned this in school. You're not supposed to copy people's work. If you do, you're supposed to cite sources. And I think that's where all of the big ado is coming up, is because she didn't cite the sources. And now the people that have found out that their work is in her book, they're actually upset. They're actually like, that's not cool, which it isn't. But let's just talk about plagiarism and copying people, because I talked about this in a previous live, how in the business world, a lot of people copy each other, right? But you do have to be smart enough to add your own flavor, because in business they teach you, like with bread, like with anything, somebody out there has what you have invented, or somebody has the type of business that you have. Are they copying you? Absolutely not. But if they use your same color, or your same, title, or your same font, then yes, there's some plagiarism going on. There is some copycatting going on, and that's why you have to get federally trademarked to protect your work. Because if your work is not federally trademarked, then anybody can come and copy you. So there was a couple of lists that B Simone had put into her journal, and it's from my understanding, because I don't have the book, it actually had the people who she copied under there on the page. Now, I don't know if that's what she considered to be her citing the sources, but what I would have suggested for her, or whoever was doing her book, is to use a thesaurus, right? Thesauruses are your friend. We learned that in college. If you're going to plagiarize a page or a report, if you're going to plagiarize the template, then just use a thesaurus and pick a different word and just add your own special sauce to it, so that way a person can't say, like, this is my work word from word. You can't do that word from word and not cite the sources. So one of the things that I would like to talk about too is how it's good to call her out on it, but I want you all to have a little grace, you all, because how many of us have had a phony Louis before, have had a phony Gucci before? That's a type of plagiarism. That's a type of, not paying for the real thing and taking a shortcut and not paying the $1,500 and paying the $55 for the purse versus going to the real Louis, right? So did she plagiarize? Absolutely. Did she put out a product that was poorly presented? Absolutely, she did. Does she need to be called out on it? Absolutely. But cancel, I wouldn't cancel B Simone. I would give B Simone some grace to make it up. I think that she needed to learn this lesson. I think that a lot of people who follow her need to learn this lesson. Hire a professional. Get references. Don't rush the process. Because the truth of the matter is this. her book really still could have been in pre-order. I work with a lot of authors, and they don't like that pre-order stage. They don't like the 30 to 90 day window minimum. They want their book out as soon as they get their first draft. And I always tell my clients, don't rush and put your book out if it's not ready. You're going to have your customers saying, "Where's my book? I'll order my book." That is your time to educate them what pre-order means. Pre-order means it's not ready, it's in production, and when it comes out, you're going to be the first one to receive it. Denise Brown says, because it's definitely not worth canceling her. Absolutely. We can't cancel our own because, to be honest, the Kardashians have been plagiarizing our culture for the longest. There are so many people who have plagiarized us, and we haven't canceled them. So we got to be careful not to cancel our own so quickly. Should we call them out? Absolutely. Should we tell them, "Hey, this not going to fly with us. You got to do better"? Absolutely. But we should not cancel her. And I think what happened was people had her book. They just didn't complain about it. But people had her book. They didn't complain about it until she made that statement about not having a man that works a 9 to 5. And again, I'm not here to say if that was a good statement or a bad statement. I'm just here to talking about the book. But what happened was, once she made that statement, she did offend a lot of her niche market. And that's what made them begin to put her under the microscope. Hey, Vanessa. So here's my take on that. Make sure you understand your niche market. Make sure you understand the salary of your niche market, the education of your niche market, the political status of your niche market, the religion of your niche market. All of these things come into play, because on one hand, people are saying, "Well, that's her preference. She should be able to say that she doesn't want a man with a 9 to 5, as she should." But if your niche market is the majority of 9 to 5, you have to be careful what you say, because if you have a bunch of 9 to 5ers that are supporting you, then sometimes you just have to be very careful with your choice of words. And I think that's what happened. The majority of her niche market is a 9 to 5 demographic, and they got offended, and then they began to look at everything she did and said and scrutinize her, right? Another thing I have about the situation is contracts. So now she's going to, take it to a legal matter, and she's probably going to sue them and say that they messed up her brand. But I think she does need to have some accountability into it. But you want to make sure, you all, when you're spending anything over, when you're spending anything over $100, especially if you're spending thousands of dollars, you should have a contract. The contract should be definitely well written. It should have all of the clauses that's going to protect you. And so hopefully in her contract, there is some type of clause that will help her to sue the ghostwriter. But if she has any emails, I'll tell you just how we do it here at Sophisticated Press. We have contracts. We make sure that we send an email to our clients and say, "Hey, do you approve of this final draft?" If they say they approve, we mail a draft off, and before we finalize that draft, we go through the book with the client. And sometimes the client will just say, you'll email them the draft, and they'll say, "I approve," just because they're so excited. "I approve." And they don't read the draft. And here's the thing, you all, we're working with humans, so there is going to be human error. You have to go through your final draft as an author. And don't just send it back and say you approve and you haven't looked at every page. Because now what happened is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people have bought this book, and what if they want a refund? Hopefully on your page, hopefully on your invoice, you may have no refund, because if you don't have the proper wording on your invoices, if they ask for a refund, you may have to refund all that money back. And I think what she should do, hey Gloria, I think what she should do, just as a stand-up business person, maybe resend the new book when they get it updated. I think she should redo the book and resend it to all the people that supported her, because the book, from my understanding, was very high price, and you just don't want to lose that following. Valerie says, we should not cancel, but you can't say manifestation of B Simone and you don't have anything to do with the book. 100% agree, Valerie. I thought this was a real journal that she followed every day in her life. Yes. Now, Valerie bring up a great point. You have to be authentic out here in these streets. That's why when people see me with my red dress and my glasses and they see me kind of ghetto, but I also love Jesus, when they work with me, they get that person. I never put on this persona that I'm somebody I'm not. So what Valerie is saying is, B Simone made this presentation as if this book was something that she used every day, which means that people thought, okay, she's sharing her formula with us. And then to now say that you didn't know, you didn't see it, you were unaware, that's more like, that's shady, because you told us you was hands-on. You told us that this book was how you manifested the life that you wanted. You shared how your bank account became $1 million in balance and everybody was happy for you and you gave everybody hope. And now to see this book drop the ball and for you to say, I didn't know, that's not good enough. And so definitely she should be called out. Definitely she should redo the book. Definitely I think that she should resend everybody the updated version once she does it. But I would just say hire a different team and make sure that you don't just be filled with emotions and approve the final draft. No, go through the final draft. Not just you either. Have you another pair of eyes of people that you trust, preferably in your niche market, and have them view it. Because somebody should have told her, this book look a little cheap. This book look kind of like it's for 5th graders, not really for your niche market of 25 to the 42-year-olds. Because from what I seen, it looked kind of just like elementary, right? And so you got to make sure, because if this is your first time writing a book, as she said, then you have to make sure you're not the only one making the decisions. Because if you've never written a book, you really can't approve a final draft without having somebody who's done it before finalize on it, right? So that's why we also, here at Sophisticated Press, we offer the online academy, so you can kind of know the process and you're just not putting your trust and putting your decisions in somebody else's hands. But I think that what B Simone did is very it's eye-opening, and just, we got to be more careful when we're putting out any product or service that's connected to our brand. Any questions out there, you all, about this, or anything that you have to any other comments you have on it? Because it's really interesting to see. I mean, she made a lot of money, she sold a lot of copies, and now the blogger who list that she used and different things like that, they're coming for her. And what I would have done, because I'm really big on collaborations, if you really like that list of 50 things that was listed in her journal, I would have called or emailed the Girl Boss blogger and said, hey, I'm doing a book. I want to put this list up in the book. I want to give you credit for your list. And who knows, maybe your niche market and my niche market can collaborate, and we can collaborate, and that way you'll introduce me, an African American female, to your white Caucasian niche market, and now introduce you, a white Caucasian woman, to my African American niche market, right? She could have used that as a way to collaborate and to have affiliate marketing opportunities, versus just taking the content and not citing the sources or asking for a collaboration opportunity. So I'm really big on, like I told you all, because I know how billionaires in the 1% is, 1%ers copy all the time. It's nothing wrong with copying. You got to copy the right cat, right? And then if you're going to copy them from word, you have to give sources, and you have to see if it's see if it's for copy, if there's a collaboration opportunity. Because what I talked about before was Best Buy copied Circuit City. Now, I don't know if Circuit City was in your state, but in Chicago, we had this electronics store that was called Circuit City. If you remember Circuit City, give me some hearts. So what happened was Circuit City didn't want to pivot, right? So then Best Buy came and copied Circuit City, but they added their own flavor to it. And guess what? They knocked Circuit City out the box, and Circuit City bankrupt. And now you got Best Buy. But before there was a Best Buy, there was a Circuit City. So this is why I'm always studying businesses. I'm always studying billionaires, because copying somebody is not new. There's nothing new under the sun, the Bible says. But you do have to add your unique swag to it. You do, right? My daughter put me on to some Chick-fil-A sauce that's in Walmart. And it's called French fry sauce. And I bought the French fry sauce for $3, and it literally tastes like the Chick-fil-A sauce. But it's called French fry sauce. It's at Walmart. So that's what I'm saying. Like, but when you go to Chick-fil-A, it's called Chick-fil-A sauce. It tastes literally the same. So copying people is not nothing new. It's just that you can't copy somebody word from word and not get caught, because once you get caught, then you look like a fraud, and then now it's going to be hard for you to come back from that. But can she recover? I think she can, but she's going to have to do a lot. She's going to have to do a lot of image control, a lot of brand control. And if I was her, everyone who ordered the book, I would redo the whole book. I would take the time, instead of having a ghostwriter, and just really work personally with this ghostwriter and not just have them do it for her. If she had her best friends or her friends do it, I would tell them, hey, thank you. I know we tried it the cheap way the first time, but let us spend some real money just second time, and let's do it the right way. And I think that if she resend out the book and it's better, I think that'll be good for her. Last thing is pricing. Here's an exercise I always have my clients do. If you're entering into a genre, you have to study that genre. The easiest way to study that genre is to go to barnesandnoble.com, is to go to amazon.com and look up the book pricing in that genre. From my understanding, her book was anywhere from $30 to $35. And I never knock nobody prices, because I never want nobody to knock my prices. Don't tell me how much to charge for my work, for my time, because that's my work, that's my time. But if you're going to charge $30 to $35 for a book, that book has to be worth it. Because honestly, when I go in Barnes & Noble, there are some books that's $100. There was a Nike gym shoe book that just showed the timeline of Nikes, and it was every bit of $100. So are there books that's $100 in Barnes & Noble? Absolutely. But if you're going to charge those high-end prices like $30 and $35, make sure the content is validated for that $30 to $35 price. Make sure that you are not just charging a price that you just pulled out of your head. No. Have you studied other journals? What is the average price for journals? You know, if you're charging $30 and $35 and shipping is included, then use that as a marketing strategy. $35 shipping included, right? So I just think that that's what we need to make sure we're doing when you're coming into a genre. Make sure you go to Amazon. Make sure you go to Barnes & Noble. Look at the pricing, and then make sure your pricing is equivalent to those that's in the genre. Okay? So that's my take on B Simone, you all. I think that that really sums it up. If anything else happens with this case, I'll make sure that I come back and talk about it. But I don't want you to be afraid to hire a ghostwriter, but I do want you to just make sure that you're hands-on. I don't want you to be filled with emotions and rush the process. It's okay to be in pre-order from 30 to 90 days to minimum 6 months. It's okay. Don't rush the process and put out a book that's not up to standard, because you're going to hurt your brand the way B Simone has done. Okay. All right, you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure, if you haven't seen it all from the beginning, go back and watch the replay. Also, make sure you share it with your author friends. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.